All right. Well, it's time for our next talk, and I'd like to present Stephane Bidoul from the Odoo Community Association, and he's going to talk about community management. So give it up for Stephane.
So, hello everybody, thanks for being here, and most of all, thanks for inviting me to share our experience with the Odoo Community Association. First, maybe who knows Odoo? Who uses Odoo? Okay. Actually, Odoo is all-in-one management software, also known as an ERP, and it shares many similarities with Alfresco, in the sense that it's developed by an editor, it's open source, it has an LGPL core, and the editor builds an enterprise version, which is actually a set of additional modules on top of the community version. It has a very broad functional scope. It goes from accounting, inventory management, CRM, you name it, very broad. It's based on a modular framework to develop basically web-based application. You develop mostly in Python and it runs on Postgres. So that's the technical aspect. Very important is modularity, extensibility. When you install Odoo, you get basically nothing, just the framework, and then you install what they call apps to activate accounting, CRM, inventory management, and so on, to build your system. And this modularity and extensibility really enables, in fact, it's open source, really enables a very active and dynamic community, creating all kinds of additional values. So I'm here to talk not about Odoo, but about the Community Association, which is to Odoo what Order of the Bee is to Alfresco. I want the sessions to be interactive, so if you have questions, don't hesitate to interrupt, because it's also an opportunity to share and exchange all the community's work, so don't hesitate. The ecosystem, our ecosystem is quite similar to the Alfresco ecosystem, in the sense there is the editor, which, let's say, is, has its own roadmap and is really making the core product evolve. Contribution from the community to the core product are mostly bug fixes and sometimes some functional improvement, but there are no big community contributions to the core. Then there is the official partner network, and then there is the community at large, which is structuring under the banner of the OCA. The OCA, also a similarity, we like insects, apparently you have a bee, we have an ant. The reason for creating the association was that before, and that was 3-4 years ago, the community was creating lots of open source code around Odoo, but each partner was working a bit in its own domain. The big partners had their own public repositories, but there was no real collaboration. Some ad hoc collaborations, some important add-ons, but nothing structured. That meant that there was a lot of duplicate efforts, the same add-ons being done twice or more by different partners in slightly different ways. So that was quite a waste of efforts. So the mission of the OCA is really to promote the widespread use of Odoo by promoting collaborative work around Odoo features. And the way we decided to do that was really to encourage an open source ecosystem around Odoo. So what we do is really coordinating, organizing collaborative work. That's really key to reduce duplicate efforts and to give a consistency in the add-on ecosystem around Odoo. It's also a unified voice in front of the editor. We can really coordinate what we want to say to the editor and speak one voice of the community to the editor. We also do some promotion, we do some marketing, so that's also a mission, because what's good for Odoo is good for the community and vice versa. Another aspect is really increasing the quality, because even the best partner working alone produce lower quality than several partners working together on the same code and reviewing and doing peer review and improving what the other does. There is also an aspect of protecting intellectual property. I'll talk a bit later about that. It encourages collaboration because there is a security, there is an independent entity owning the code. It's easier for people to contribute to the OCA than providing patches to the code of individual partners to give juridical security. And we also provide resources to help the community work. So I explain how that works. So today, yeah, go ahead.
So before we get to today, how did the Odoo Community Association start? Has it been around since the beginning? Because it used to be OpenERP, and then what happened?
Yeah, OpenERP was the old name of Odoo. Then Odoo decided to change the name, nothing to do with the community. And the Odoo Community Association started about, I think it was 4 years ago, with a set of big partners and independent contributors getting together and really bootstrapping the association. So it's an independent initiative from the editor.
And was there something that, what was the need? Was the vendor not filling certain obligations? Was the partners feeling like they needed leverage? What was the motivation for it?
The motivation was really sharing efforts between partners. Doing large-size Odoo deployment with complex functional solutions requires quite a bit of additional add-ons on top of the Odoo core, and the big partners realized that they would be more efficient working together than each in their own corner. It also gives us security to our customers, because we can say to our customers, look, if for some reason you don't want to work with us anymore, well, the bulk of our code we run on your instance, it's actually shared with the community, so you'll find other partners to maintain it and to evolve it. Also, when Odoo releases new versions about every year, and there is some migration effort to get the add-ons to the new version, and there too, sharing those migration efforts across a broader set of contributors really helps us and make the project more efficient for our customer. Those are the main motivations. Some stats. We have 140 GitHub projects, essentially grouped by functional scope. There's some for accounting, reporting, localizations and stuff. That's 1,600 modules. Some are very small. Most of them are actually small. Odoo really encourages to create small modules that extend each other. That's 1 million lines of code and 200 contributors over the past year. We have 270 members. Those are those who are paying their membership fee, and 700 contributor license agreements signed. So those people who have contributed at least once to the community. We also have a lot of open pull requests and issue. That's a lot, yes and no, in relation to the number of modules we have. That remains reasonable. Still, we consider it's a backlog we need to work on. So the organization, it's a non-profit, so it has a juridical existence. And the organ defined by the status are, the most important is the delegate assembly, where initially the founders of the association, who have a strong will to promote and preserve the mission of the OCA. and the delegate assembly elect their peers. Each year we do an election to invite new delegate. But it's not a random member who can elect a delegate, kind of protection of the associations to avoid that it will be hijacked by someone just putting money on the table. And the board also the delegate assembly elects the board of the association. We have financial auditors, and then we have project steering committees who drive different functional or technical scopes. Yeah.
How hard was it to become a nonprofit?
Actually, I was not part of that process. It was established in Switzerland. It involved some lawyer work, but I don't think it was very hard.
Do all members have to pay fees? Like, what do the fees entitle you to? Like, can contributors, people commit code without paying fees?
Yes. Anyone can contribute. To contribute, you just need to sign the CLA. In case for some reason OCA would want to change the license for whatever reason, we don't need to ask all contributors the permission to do that. So they give their permission up front by signing the CLA. But that's the only thing to do to contribute. And we use a GitHub bot to check that the CLA is in order before accepting contributions. So we automate that. Yeah.
One of my following the question and the answer, one of the issues we have inside the Alfresco community is about contribution.
Yeah.
That is something that we are trying to face. Can you briefly share with us how the process of the contribution works from an OCA perspective and from a core perspective? So I mean, is there a huge effort for the core developers to take in charge all the various bug fix tests, all the contribution? So which are the main issues?
So contribution, well, all the code is on GitHub in different repositories. The first hurdle for contributors is finding the right repo to contribute, but we try to make that easier. Then they simply do a pull request or create an issue, or it's quite traditional. Then we have a review process. We ask 2 independent reviews and a third person merging. And we have some minimum delay between the reviews and the merge, so we give enough time.
Roughly how much time?
We give after the second review, I think it's 5 days before we merge. So we give enough time to the community to at least have a look. We have quite a lot of activity. And this process is there to help ensuring quality. It goes together with automated tests run on Travis. We have defined all kinds of code quality tools. It's Bidoul on Pylint, which is the standard Python checking tools, which we have extended with Odoo specific checks, which help ensure quality. And we do also test coverage on Travis. So when you see a pull request reducing the coverage of a repository, we get a warning. You can ask the contributor to add their tests. So type of service we do to the community. There is a part of general assistance that we create contributing guidelines. We help with licensing and intellectual property protection. So since we have some reputation, we can push with partner who would not be respectful of the open source license. It happens regularly. And we help with the relationships to the editor. We organize code sprint at least once a year. The next one is in Barcelona end of May, and we have the chance. We have currently 60 people registered for the code sprint, and we have a few people from the editor coming to the sprint too, which is quite nice. And then we give some financing to local code sprint. It's mostly people grouping to work on localized standardization, because in Odoo it's important to have the proper account chart for different countries and stuff like that. The editor does not them all, so we give some financing to local constraint to advance those stuff. We do some marketing and newsletters. And then, yeah, technical service, I talked about that, GitHub coding convention, Travis for quality control, very important. And then we have a runbot, which is a tool that was created by Odoo, which is basically each pull request is automatically installed on that runbot on the database with demo data. So functional people can come on that instance and test the pull request. That's also very important because to lower the barrier for contribution. So non-technical people don't need to install the code, the pull request to test it. They can just go on runbot and test it. We also provide a translation platform. It's currently Transifex, moving to Weblate in the coming weeks.
Moving to what? You said moving to?
Weblate. It's a Python-based. It's a bit. Transifex is well known, but it's not open source, and we had a bit too much volume on that platform for them, with millions of strings to translate. So, and it was a bit expensive for us, so we are migrating to a self-hosted Weblate platform.
We've been very happy with CrowdIn.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. Another well-known is Poodle, which is the one who hosts the translations for LibreOffice and other like that. And we do packaging and distribution, so we have a script running nightly, publishing all the new or updated add-ons to PyPy, which is the Python package distribution platform. That's 2,100 different packages across 3 Odoo versions. So about 1,600 for 8 and then less for 9 and 10. So we make it easy to discover and install or add-ons. Quite a lot of volume. And to finance that, we have a budget. So main expenses are the code spreads for the venue, meals, so on. Then the infrastructure. Infrastructure is mainly the runbot servers. The rest is on Travis, is free, and GitHub is free also for open source projects, so we use that quite a lot. Travis, I don't know if they like us because we use quite a lot of resources on the platform. They don't complain, so that's fine. And some marketing costs. And the revenue for the association are the membership, which is a way to give support to the association, and we have the chance to have a few sponsors who actually, mostly end customers actually, who see the value of what we provide and want to contribute with sponsorship. Try to sell goodies, but we're very good at that. So.
One quick question.
Yeah.
On the revenue, on the membership fee, is that, people just see that more like a donation? Like, they don't get anything for that? They don't get a higher status, they don't get anything?
No, they don't get anything, it's just a donation.
Okay.
They get the name on the website, but yeah, that's all.
Okay.
We want it to be purely a meritocracy. That's very important. That's why we have the delegate assembly but yeah, it's not by paying that you can do more in the association.
Do the members have a vote on the delegates? Is that how it works? You become a member and then you get to appoint the delegates and they pick the board? Or?
Can you say again?
As the members, does that buy you a vote on the delegates?
No.
No, okay. So anybody that contributes or anybody that's a member of the larger community helps select delegates?
No, it's the delegate to select their peer once a year. So we do an election to elect 10 additional delegates each year. Also as a way to protect the open source character of the association. So normally delegate will elect only other delegates who have shown their willingness to contribute and preserve the open source character of the association.
Yeah, we do something similar where anyone can join the order of the bee, right? But then to be a voting member, it takes voting of the existing voting members, so it's very similar.
Yeah, I think it's important.
Yeah.
So the license, any open source line, OSI approved license is accepted in OCA, so it's up to the initial contributors. Mostly today we have LGPL because historically partners wanted to prevent a bit leechers to repackage their work as proprietary stuff. It tends to change now that because initially the core of Odoo was LGPL2 with an exception when you had the enterprise contract. It was kind of double license. Now the core is LGPL, so it's easier to extend in different business models. But many of the community add-ons are LGPL for the moment. And then we ask a contributor license agreement to make it easy in case we have to change the license. It's not something we would do lightly in any case, but at least if we have to for any reason, we can. We have the right to do it. Yeah, it also gives some security to users and other contributors, knowing that their code is somehow protected under known conditions. We have two kinds of CLAs, one for individuals and one for enterprise who cover contributions of employees. So it works, really. I think there are many big partners and individual contributors, and for big partners like us, we really see the value of sharing our work with the community and other partners. We have seen many partners in the Odoo ecosystem actually disappearing after a couple of versions of Grade because they were not capable of maintaining and upgrading their customers. They developed so much custom code that they could not upgrade it. And really working together in the associations help us in that respect. It really lowers the upgrade costs. Increased quality, having the peer review. Yeah, having the peer review really helps raising the quality bar. Even the best partners learn from code review from their peers. By the way, it's fun too for new employees to work in that way in the community. And we ensure some kind of compatibility. We don't really certify, we don't have the resource to actually certify 1600 modules, it's not possible. But the processes we have put in place really increase the quality level, and the functional review normally catches redundant stuff or people trying to do something that exists in a slightly different way. And when that happens, we encourage them to join an existing project and contribute to those. So all in all, we have can be proud on the functional consistency of those 1600 modules. And community is very, very active. Future work, well, we have our share of challenges. Attracting more reviewers is important, given the volume. Attracting non-technical contributors, people who do documentation. Developers don't like to document, so many modules are under-documented. Author and contributor recognition, that's very, very important. So people who contribute know that their name will be recognized as a contributor to the OCA and will not dwell inside a huge mass. So that's also something we are working on. And we need to manage the growth. When it started, we accepted a lot of existing code in OCA to bootstrap the thing. We didn't try to have a very high quality at the beginning. So the coding conventions have been improved over time. But still we are at a stage where we recognize we need to define some kinds of maturity level across those 1600 modules. So we are considering to have 3 levels with different quality targets to give better emphasis to high quality modules, but also to make it easier to accept new contributions at the lower level. So it's something we are considering and working on these days. Also important is the maintenance and ownership of modules. We need to be careful that you don't have people who dump their code in OCA and then walk away and don't maintain it, because that creates a burden for the organization and gives, it can tend to give a bad image, because if you have code in OCA and then the original contributors don't respond and nobody is actually maintaining the module, it gives a bad impression with pull requests remaining open. And also, that works with the maturity level. If we notice that some modules are not maintained, we degrade their maturity level to show people what they expect when they contribute to these things. Yeah, and I think that's it for my slides.
All right, great, that was a good talk. Do you have any questions for Stephane?
When you first got started, was there any conflict between enterprise vision and what the OCA stood for? And did they overlap at any time?
Not really at the start. There is some level of overlaps. So actually, when we started, there was no enterprise version for version 8. So there was only this fully LGPL Odoo, and the enterprise contract gave you support, bug fixes, and stuff like that. So there was no conflict. At some point, for version 9, 3 years ago, they changed the license, and they were afraid of that, and community was afraid of that. But in the end, the fact that we had a structured community helped that process to go smoothly. I mean, that was a decision of the editor, their right to do that, and that business justification. And that helped the process go smoothly, because the fact that we could give a unified voice to the editor that avoids clashes, that avoids forks. There were people willing to fork Odoo at the time, or still. But the position of the OCA is that the editor brings a lot of value, so that there is no point to fork, and it would be a loss of time and money for everyone. Now, of course, know that the editor is doing proprietary modules on top of the community versions. There is some overlap. So there are modules in OCA that have functional overlap with the enterprise versions, but that's life. Evolutions, Darwinian evolutions.
So you haven't been told you must take that one down or anything was drastic, is that?
No. There is no
All right, well, okay.
No,
Go ahead,
it's
Richard.
fast.
Okay, go ahead, fast one, yeah, go ahead.
Last question. Contribution are to community-only source code, if there is a difference between the source code of the community and enterprise edition?
We don't provide a community distribution of Odoo. Well, actually, we had, at some point, Odoo was slow accepting bug fix, so we had our own distribution with additional bug fixes. But but Odoo has improved, and so that version is much less used these days. So really what the OCA does is modules on top of the official Odoo community version. And even with what we call the Odoo community branch, we made sure that it were only bug fix going in that one, and that the compatibility was preserved, so we would not have modules that worked on one and not the other. Also very important for clarity of the ecosystem.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's have another round of applause for Stephane.